Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and I'd like to do a complete beginner's guide to Hollow Knight, the Voidheart edition, playing on the PlayStation, so that if you're thinking about playing Hollow Knight, or if you've tried it and found it to be difficult, you can actually get into this game and enjoy it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a brand new game of Hollow Knight. I'm going to talk about the controls, the UI, how to play, some tips and tricks, some strategy, and I'm going to walk you through it so you can play along with me or just see the game and understand my entire thought process as I explain things and show you what you can do in the beginning of the game to make your life easier for yourself. In this guide, I'm not going to show you the best optimal way to do everything. I'm not a perfect player, and really what I actually hope to show you is that even a player like me, who is not good at this game, can enjoy how awesome Hollow Knight is, given the fact that it's a very challenging game, there's a lot going on, and yet you can still have fun, you can still do well, and you can still get far into this game and beat this game even if you're not fantastic at it. All you need to do is just understand the fundamentals, which I will show you here, and you can build upon these to get yourself through the game. It's not going to be easy necessarily, but with these tips, with this kind of guide, you will be able to gain some traction. You will be able to get into this. And I hope by showing some gameplay too, you could even see if this is the game you want to play. So I'm just going to fire up a brand new game, and I'm going to start a new file, okay? And let's see what happens. In wilds beyond, they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught we changed, base instincts were redeemed, a world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. That's an elegy to Hollow Nest. There we are. And we're falling. Ouch. But we're okay. All right. So, here we are in Hollow Knight. And Hollow Knight is described as a platformer, action, adventure, exploration game, which has been kind of called Metroid-Vania as a genre, where you have elements of Metroid, elements of Castlevania all blended together. And this game is punctuated by its amazing aesthetic. It's got a great art style, great music, very mysterious vibe to it, and it does have good controls and a good system, even though it's so difficult. So let's talk about what we see on the screen. I am the Hollow Knight right here jumping. I'm pushing the X button to jump up in the air. I could jump quite high, as you see. I could push the square button to swing my nail, my sword, around. And in the upper left, you see that I have a gauge that has 5 little masks on it. Those are my health points. And a sphere that will fill up, and we'll learn about that as it goes. But right now, we don't have any of that resource. and you can walk around. You can use either the analog stick or the directional keys on your gamepad to move around. Now, I'm playing, as I said, on a PlayStation 5, so I will be describing the keys in that fashion. But this game is pretty much on every system at this point. All right, so let's go over here to this doorway, and it's closed, so how do you get through? Just break it. Square button to attack, as it says. Bust this up. Break these down. And it's our first enemy. So this bug is pretty simple. You're going to fight a lot of bugs in this game. You can see he just keeps coming at us. He doesn't have anything else. And then when we defeat the bug, we got some pickups, and you can see now below our health in the upper left, there is a icon and a number 2. So we have 2 of whatever currency that is, which we'll find out very soon. And it's going to tell us, kind of in the tutorial here, if you want to jump, you need to push X to get out of that little pit. You could fight that guy, and boom. By the way, this currency that we're getting, it's basically money, is how I like to think of it. And let's defeat this guy. Pretty easy so far, right? Now, if I push start, I can go to, I can continue, I can go to the options, or I can go back to the main menu. If I push the center button on the PlayStation controller, I open up this screen. It shows me my inventory, and it tells me focus, okay? And I can hold the circle button to use focus to turn collected soul into a healing spell, basically. So you strike enemies to gather soul, and that is the gauge in the upper left in the circle that we were talking about. You see how it's filling up and how a Hollow Knight face is kind of appearing, and it's filled up. If I get hurt, if I lose some of these masks that I have 5 of in the upper left, I can hold circle to use my soul to kind of spend the essence to heal myself by using focus. This is my old nail, which is my weapon, and Geo are the kind of currency that I've been gathering, and this is your money. This is a basic money currency. So it's made from fossilized shells of various forms. It can be traded for goods or used as toll in various old mechanisms. So you need Geo, and it is your money. And we're just going to bounce around here, and it's a platformer. Now you see this thing right here? If you hit this, money or Geo just comes out. By the way, I will interchangeably call Geo money or cash or gold or Geo. I just kind of refer to it as any of those things, but it is technically called Geo. I now have 21. A lot of the things in the environment, like this firefly, you can't actually interact with them. They just look cool and provide the ambiance for the game. This is a little platforming that you need, and you're going to get used to this because you're going to be doing it all the time. Now notice right here, if I fall, I am not taking fall damage in this game. I will only take damage if I fall onto spikes or some kind of water or some other harmful terrain. These, like protrusions, you can actually break in this game. You could cut the grass. A lot of the time this has no effect, but it does look cool. Now you'll notice this spike fell from the ceiling and tried to hit me. If I would have been slowly walking, that spike could have fallen down and hit me on the head and done damage to me. So you have to watch out for things falling and traps and such environmental hazards in this game. And there's a glowing thing, and it says inspect. You push up on the gamepad to do that. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Your great strength marks you among us, or amongst us. Focus your soul, and you shall achieve feats of which others can only dream. So this is explaining what I just talked to you about from the inventory. Collect soul by striking enemies. So every time you hit enemies, you're getting a little bit of that currency to use your, I call it your magic in this game, basically. And once you have enough soul, you can hold circle to heal yourself. You can get new abilities, other magic spells is what I kind of refer to them loosely as, to use. But right now, this is what we've got, which is the healing. I don't need to heal, so I won't. But here is a flying enemy you can see over on the left, and these are harder. What I recommend you do in this game is just explore the enemies by seeing what their attack patterns are. And you see this guy is just kind of like meandering around. He's harder because he's not just running straight along the ground, and you can't just get away from him as easily by jumping over, but he's still not that hard. Bust open this door, and we find another chamber. Remember, this game is all about exploring, combat, gathering. That enemy just got killed by a spike, and he dropped his geo. So, enemies can be hit by the environmental hazards as well. You could see stalagmite just kind of fell down here. And you can use the right analog stick to look around. If you're standing, you could hold up to look up, down to look down, and that can be used, if I look up, to like discern if there are any environmental hazards that you want to be mindful of. And let's see. They're very obvious when you get to know what they look for. Now, I'm pushing the inventory. I can't do anything else on this screen right now. And I don't have a map, so we have to just kind of wait to get our bearings. You will walk around blind a lot of the time in this game, and by blind I mean you won't have a map. It'll be hard to get your direction sense because you need to get the map. Now, this big blue glowy thing, when in doubt, smack things with your sword. And we smack it, and we get these bugs, and we smack these. And I got 2 of them. There we go. And look in the upper left. My health gauge now has 2 bonus health that are blue. These are temporary. Once I lose these, once I'm hit and they go away, I do not get them back. But it just gives us some, temporary boost to our health, which is great. If I heal myself using my soul, I would not get those back. I'm going to explore this cavern, though. We just kind of left it here. And it was an optional path that we found. Oh, I just got hit. And you'll see that the extra hit point I got is gone. And look at this. This secret cave that we found. Oh, that spike almost fell and hit us. Conveniently placed right before a treasure. So we got a bunch of extra geo, which is fantastic. We have 50 now. But notice how they put a spike right before the treasure. That's something to look out for. Whenever you see something new that you might be excited about, one of the things you want to do in Hollow Knight is kind of pause. Take a kind of inventory of your surroundings by looking around and seeing, is there anything that's going to kill me, before you rush ahead. I die in this game all the time by being impatient and rushing ahead. This is a game that rewards observation, careful play, and skillful play. And we'll jump over here and bash this. And you can knock down all of this debris if you want. Oh my goodness. The floor just gave way. And you'll notice that there's a geo kind of node up there, but I can't get up that high. I don't have the ability to do that. And now I've fallen down and I just have to go this way. Now below me you see these razor sharp spikes. This is actually safe. The spikes are in the background. And the foreground, you can walk right here. You'll see that there's some black spikes that are in the foreground, and there's some spikes drawn in the background, but they don't hurt you. The spikes that do hurt you are the ones that are glistening. You see how to the right of me, the spikes are kind of like glistening? That's saying if you fall on those, you will take damage. So, whoa! Let's be careful. So we've got spikes above and below. Now look at this. You see up here how there are some spikes that are drawn, and they look like they're part of the background, but they come into sharper relief. There is like a bit of a whitish outline on the spikes that I believe will fall if we jump over. Yes, and you can see them all. So notice how these spikes have kind of a white outline on them, and they do stand out from the rest of the stalagmites that are drawn. So you can use that visual cue to save yourself some health. Now right here it looks like it's a dead end, but actually you can pass through. No, it's like fogged, you can't see it, and then when you walk through, you do see it. There are secrets like this all over the game. It is a game, like I said, that rewards exploration and observation. We found ourselves a geo nest. Now, we cannot jump over this. We can't jump far enough to get through this because of the spikes. So what we want to do is just turn around. The spike doesn't hurt you when you touch it on the ground, by the way. It only hurts you if it bonks you on the head. And there's nothing here. Now you see this wooden structure? This is like a cross beam that you can actually hit to break, and it's holding up the ceiling. And when you break it, the ceiling collapses and falls in. I don't believe that does damage to you, but now you can see this is where the floor collapsed, and we are resuming our path. Let's just look up here. There's no spikes. Break these. Look up here. I think we're safe. And let's inspect this. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Beyond this point, you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the eternal kingdom, Hallownest. So, the game reveals its very cryptic and terse story through clues, characters that you can interact with, and notes and things that you'll find. It has a very good story and very interesting lore, but I should have said this at the beginning. Let me just clarify. In this beginner's guide, I am not going to spoil anything. So I will not talk about what happens later in terms of, plot reveals or anything like that. I'm just going to be kind of reading what I see and talking about tips and tricks, but I'm not going to spoil the story for you. All right, and we got a big doorway right here. Let's just bash it down. It's going to take some more to get through this, but we will. Just keep hitting it. And we're through. Grand entrance. How about that? So we walk to the edge of this. We hear the wind whistling, and time to drop down. And you see how far I fall? You make a big explosion, like on the ground. It shakes and particles fly up and dust and everything, but we take no damage from that. We have no feet. Our legs kind of end in little points, but they're very durable. Okay. And there's a light post because we're approaching a settlement. Let's keep going, and we find Dirtmouth, the fading town. Ah, the beautiful music kicks in, and here's our first NPC to talk to. Ho there, traveler. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. This is the Elderbug. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that well, one by one, into the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet it still draws folk into its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment, that darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you too seek your dreams down there. Well, watch out. It's a sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad and travelers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all. So this guy's like, I'm not going down there. I don't want to adventure. I wait at the threshold. There's always characters like this in stories that refuse to face the unknown and the dangers, but we will brave those depths. And you could talk to him again, or them again, I should say. Many used to come, hoping the kingdom would fulfill their desires. Hallownest, it was once called, supposedly the greatest kingdom there ever was, full of treasures and secrets. Now it's nothing more than a poisonous tomb full of monsters and madness. Everything fades eventually, I suppose. And you could talk again. Feeling tired? That bench may be iron, but I assure you it's quite comfortable. There's no better place to collect your thoughts before heading below. Plus, I enjoy the company. Not that you seem the talkative sort. I'm not. This is something you want to do all the time when you encounter people in the game, which is talk to them as many times as you can until they repeat their dialogue like this. So now he's going to just say the same thing until more happens. But he gives us a great clue. And you go to the bench, you see how it starts to light up and the word rest appears above it. You just push up on it and you'll sit down. You will fill back your health. The game will save. And you will spawn here if you die. So benches are tremendous places to sit down, get your health back, save the game, and create a spawn point for yourself. Now all of these doors are closed for the time being. Even this one. Inspect. For all your mapping supplies, we will be opening soon, say, Iselda and Cornifer. So we want mapping, but the map shop is closed. No cartographers around. All right, let's go around, and I'm going to jump over this and just keep going to the right for now. Show you what's over here. A dead end that has a keyhole, and it says a stone door with a simple lock. So we'll be on the lookout for a key. We can break all this stuff if we wish. And this is the well that the Elderbug spoke of. So let's go down and chase our dreams, shall we? Boom. Now, when you get down here, know that immediately you're in the Forgotten Crossroads, as you see, but you can jump and just, actually not jump, rather, push up to ascend, and you'll climb up this chain and get right back out. So you can easily get out at any time by climbing that. There's a little signpost here. You can break it. And whenever you get to a new zone, in the bottom left, it'll tell you what zone it's called, if you've been there before, and if not, it'll give you a grand kind of title that you'll see at the center. Break everything, hit everything, uncover what you can, see the enemies, and learn their patterns. Here's an enemy, and this guy is actually going to kind of run ahead of us. He's a really slow, sad-looking bug, and this game has a very depressing, existentially, crumbling feel to it, but it's also sublimely beautiful, especially when you get to some new locations. This bug just wants to charge at us, but he almost has no will to live, no spark left, and he runs out of enthusiasm for his action very soon, so he's quite easy. This bug goes here, and this bug just kind of travels around and can climb on the ceiling. So we've got some bugs with some easy attack patterns, and we're killing them, filling up our soul, getting our geos. And let's see. We got some more flying guys. These are a new enemy type. Oh, I fell. Let's jump back up. Fight this guy. I kind of like to work from the top to the bottom and just always keep the way back clear. Here we go. That guy died. Oh boy. Let's go over here. Oh, somebody's crying. Look at this guy. Why is he crying? Well, we can't figure out what is making this guy cry right now, but there's a little lot of, looks like empty houses all around him, and he's the only one here. So maybe he's lonely. Something to figure out. Lots of mysteries to figure out in this game. So just kind of make a note of it. Remember where that was. And we'll just smack some things. Enemies respawn in this game when you leave the screen especially. And I'm dropping down, which is actually okay. Remember, no fall damage, but you don't want to fall so far that you land on an enemy or that you miss anything. So I like to kind of just look around, and look at this. There's a doorway over here, and it goes into a kind of zone that has some green growing on it. The Pilgrim's Way. Travelers of Hallownest descend through verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city at this kingdom's heart. There all wishes shall be granted, all truths revealed. So they seem to advertise to the pilgrims. And let's see, let's go this way. And oh goodness, there's a much harder enemy over there. So you could fight this enemy right now, this big guy who's spitting, if you want. Just pay attention to his attack patterns. He's spitting, okay? But notice that we can't actually hurt this guy right now because he does this ranged attack where he arcs this kind of yellow golden glob at us. But if we get close, he gets a shell. So this is an enemy that we need to come back for later when we have some new abilities. So let's just go on our way. Remember that, but keep where we are. Oh boy, I've dropped down very, very far. We know that the way out is up and to the right. And oops, I've dropped through the zone. And I've actually, there we go. It looks like you drop so far that you can't get back up. But if you jump straight up here, you will come out. Now notice how I jump to the left right there when I am leaving. But this is, I can, if I want, navigate these platforms by being careful, fighting all these enemies. And going over here. And eventually we will get up. Now this is actually not all the way out. It's another passage that we didn't explore yet. But there's a bad flying guy over here. There's a big thing of geos, so let's get some cash. Oh boy, I fell. Now they're telling me that I can heal. You notice how I'm missing some health. For the first time, I don't have any temporary health left. This guy charges ahead just a little bit like we talked about, so he's very easy. We just walk him backward, hit him, and you know what? We can heal. Look up there. There's a little guy trapped in something, but we can't quite reach it. I'm going to hold circle to heal. Observe, I only used a portion of my soul to heal, and there's really no point to not heal if you lose health, because you can't gather any more soul if you're full. So might as well heal and then kill some enemies to get your soul filled back up. I'm just going to continue going to the right here, see what we can find. And this guy requires 3 hits. This guy is even harder. He likes to jump. So remember, just kind of pay attention to your enemies, see what their attack patterns are so that you know how to defeat them. And this guy is even harder still because he's going to charge ahead much further. He is a rhinoceros man. He puts his horn down and he's going to charge. He moves faster with more determination, but we can get him. Let's just keep clearing the way over here. This guy jumps. Just go under him and hit him when he's on the ground. Go under him, and there we go. Now, you might be wondering, why am I being so careful all of the time? Who cares if you die, right? I saved it at the bench. This is a good time to talk about what happens if you die. If you die in Hollow Knight, you go back to your spawn point, like I said, but you will lose all of your geo and your soul meter, the big circle in the upper left that's pulsating with my face on it that I use to use my magic abilities like focus. It will become cracked and will only be able to fill up 2/3 of the way. And where you died, a shade of yourself will appear. And to get your geo back and to restore your soul meter, you have to go back to where you died and fight and kill your shade. So, if you die in the meantime, not like Dark Souls, where if you die again before you get your body back, you lose everything. Your shade will still be there for you to kill. However, if you don't get back to your body and kill your shade before you get your geos back, you will lose those, but you'll still be able to restore your soul meter. So it's very important to not die getting back to your shade, to kill your shade without dying, to not lose anything from dying. You can get it all back, but you have to get back to where you died and fight your shade, and all of the enemies will have respawned along the way. So this is why you don't want to be too far away from a bench, and why I'm being very careful, because you don't want to lose all your geodes. That being said, do not stress about it. Why do I say that? Because there's unlimited geos in this game. If you grind, you can fight and get your geos back. It just takes time. So even though it might be really frustrating, if you lose your body and you don't get it back and you lose your geos, you can still just replenish geos by fighting around. So it's not permanent loss, but you do want to get your soul meter restored, because not being able to fill up to full soul is really frustrating. Alright, this guy wants to fight. We'll just jump over him. And now it's getting hard because there's spikes and there's flying guys. So what I like to do here is just jump over to the right to lure this dude over here, because I don't want to be fighting anybody when I'm jumping and there's spikes. You'll notice right there, there is a stalagmite that wants to drop down on us. You can see it's kind of a little bit lighter, and it's one of those things where you just have to know what to look for in this game, and you'll get much better at discerning the environment as you go, but that's definitely going to try to fall on us. So I'm just going to jump and jump back. You have a little bit of time to do stuff like that. All right, there's some stuff up there. If we could try to gather it. There's a a way to drop down here, but I'm going to go and get this. There's a signpost. There's a couple of dudes. Let's just fight these guys. Okay. And let me make sure there's no spikes. There's none. Let's get all this. So many geos. The geos on the ground, they drop down, and they last for a little bit before they disappear. They will go if you leave the screen. And I'm just going to continue to go to the right before I go down. I just like to do things like that, but you can do however you want to explore. It's difficult when we don't have a map yet. And speaking of the map, we actually saw where you can get the map, and we're going to go back there. What's this light, you say? Well, let's go over here, and there's a big guy, and oh my goodness, he wants to fight us. And, you know, we could fight that guy, but I see that guy as kind of dangerous. And I have 170 geos, so I'm just not going to risk it. I'm just going to go back and explore this way. There's a spike right here. Get out of the way. This guy wants to fight. Let's hit him. Jump over. Well, you do knock them back a little bit when you hit them with the nail, but that guy, you will not interrupt his attack. He will still come at you. You just knock him back slightly. All right, now what are these platforms for? There's spikes up here, spikes over there, and we can't quite jump up there yet. So, doesn't do anything for us yet, but I'm going to go back. I'm just kind of doubling back. Where does this passage go, I wonder? And look what we found. A giant temple. Let's go inside and explore. And it's the Temple of the Black Egg. And there's another NPC here. And you hear how they talk in they have their really interesting voice that they talk in. Hello there, how delightful to meet another traveler on these forgotten roads. You're a short one, but you've a very strong look about you. I'm Quirrell. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. So this is our buddy Quirrell. See, he has a mask that he's kind of wearing as a hat. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. A great stone egg lying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. And this egg, is it warm? It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery, and who knows what other marvels lie even deeper below us. Alright, so I'm just going to go to the right, and you can see that this is the edge of the temple. Just exploring it, and remember, let's talk to him again. For so long I've felt drawn here, so many tales full of wonders and horrors. No longer could I resist. I just had to see it for myself. And what a time I chose to arrive. This dead world has sprung to life. The creatures are riled up and the earth rumbles. The air is thick. I wonder what could have brought it all about. To persevere in this ruin, that old nail alone just won't be enough. Though that's no problem. One only has to look around. Plenty have come before us, and most have met their grisly end, many more equipped than you and I. I'm sure they wouldn't mind were a fellow explorer to relieve them of their tools. It's a kindness, really. The dead shouldn't be burdened with such things. So what he's giving us a tip is, like, if we go to our inventory, our weapon is this old nail. You can see it's kind of cracked and looks degraded. He's suggesting, hey, you should find a better sword for yourself. And we definitely do want that. Did you pass that town above? What a gloomy little place, and such majesty hidden right beneath. I suppose that's why they've all headed down here. Who could resist such possibilities? Truly a marvel. Okay, and I think that's it. Yes. So we've exhausted all dialogue options with Quirrell, but he's given us lots of good clues and story. And we're just going to break stuff and keep going to the left until... Where do we come out? In this chamber. Guys, let's look above for spikes. I'm going to jump over here. And if I continue, look where we made it. Back to the chain. I'm actually going to go up and ascend. And here we are in Dirtmouth. And we can inspect, but there's nobody there yet. I'm going to sit on the bench, and I'm going to rest. Just save it. Why not? And now it's time to go back where I had hinted at before, which is where we found the place to potentially get a map. The map is one of the first things I always do, because I get lost easily, and I love having a sense of direction. There's no easier way to lose all your geos and to get frustrated than when you get lost in this game. So the place where I wanted to show you is actually straight down. I'm going to drop all the way down to the bottom. I got hit a few times, so I'm just going to hold. I'm going to focus. I'm actually going to heal twice. And you notice how far that took my soul bar. But honestly, look at this. I hit these guys. I hit that guy. And hit that guy, and my soul is all the way filled back up. So it's pretty easy to get your soul back, especially early in the game. Now let's drop down. Whenever you hear humming and you see pieces of paper like this little piece of parchment next to me, this is a clue that the map maker is near. And actually, he's really near. Look. Let's talk. Hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins? Don't mind me. I've a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? So you can purchase a map for only 30 geo. Yes, please do this. Say yes. And you've acquired the map. Now you can hold L1 to view a map of the current area. You can view a detailed map in the map pane of the inventory. A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass from my wife, Izelda. She's just now opening our new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. So now, just like he said, I can hold L1 and see a map. Now, when you're in this screen, you can actually walk around. Enemies can hit you. The game is not paused. You could see that my character is just actually looking at a map, and you could see the map, or you can go now to your inventory, push the middle button, and you can go to R2, and you could see a more detailed map. So this shows you that there's 2 zones that we found so far, Dirtmouth and the Forgotten Crossroads, and if you push X to zoom in on this, you can get an even more detailed map, and you can actually move this around, okay, with the directional pad or the analog sticks. And although he's right, it doesn't show us where we are. There are things that are marked on this map that are very obvious. So look on the map, you can actually see our good buddy right here, Cornifer, is on the map. His face is right there. That's where we bought the map, and that's where we are. The chamber above us, the long chamber that we fell down, is above us. Then we go to the right. You can see the temple marked, and you can see that there is an indication of a difficult enemy as well that's marked. And there's the chain upward to Dirtmouth. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and turn around and go back up because I've got the map. Now, a great thing about the map is it's updated every time you use a bench, so you get to add to the map of the area with what you personally have explored. So sometimes he won't find all of the secrets. You'll have to do that, and you can fill those in. Now, you can only fill in for the areas that you have a map for. So, for example, I can't pencil in something for a place that I don't yet have the map. But as soon as you get the map and you sit at a bench, you will retroactively fill in what you have mapped, if that makes sense. So you won't lose the progress of what you've discovered. Look, the shop is open. Let's go in. Here she is. Bafanada indeed, Izelda. Come to buy a map, have you? It's really my husband you should be dealing with, but what a surprise, he's headed down below. So she's always bored because he's down there. He'll pop back up occasionally to deliver new maps for the store, but I do wish he'd spend a little more time up here. I've not much interest in retail myself. Now let's see what's here for me to sell. So she can sell us a compass, a quill, a bench pin, a cocoon pin, a vendor pin, a hot springs pin, and some markers. So what do all these things do? Well, first of all, the compass is something that we want, and what this will do is at the notch cost of 1, and your notch cost is basically you have a set number of trinkets that you can equip, and they each cost a notch. Or maybe 2, or maybe 3, or more, depending on what trinket or relic it is. This one only costs 1, and so you have to kind of choose which ones you want to equip. But when you have this equipped, it will show where you are on the map. It's incredibly useful. I love it, but I don't have enough for it. The quill says you'll need this if you want to update your map. We have to buy this. So I'm going to buy it right now. It'll take up all of our geo, but that's okay. All of these other pins, what these will do is they will allow you to mark on the map certain points of interest whenever you find them. So if you find a bench, if you have this purchased, you will mark them on the map. If you find a cocoon, the blue things that give you the bonus health, you will mark those. If you find vendors, people to buy stuff from, hot springs, it will mark these automatically whenever you find these and whenever you get to a bench if you have the quill. Now, the other thing is you can get these markers to place markers on your map. So you can say, hey, you know what? I got to this place. I want to go back here. And just set reminders for yourself. So all of this stuff is awesome, but we don't have the geos for it. But what we do have the geos for is to go back to the bench right now and sit down, and you can see it says map updated at the bottom. All right, and if I stand back up and I go to my map, you'll notice now that the map has changed, and it fills in the areas of the map that you've actually been into. So you can see like all of the places where I've been are filled in, and then the places from Cornifer's map that he mapped out that I haven't yet been, there's just an outline, but it's not colored in yet. So it gives you a sense of where to go. So the map is super useful. We've shown where to get the map. We've shown the controls. We've explained some basic strategy. We purchased the quill, and we've talked to Quirrell, the Elderbug, Izelda, and Cornifer now. And we're really getting into the game. This is a beautiful and fantastic game. It's mysterious, but that's part of the charm. And hopefully this series will help you get over the hump and get into the game so you can enjoy it on your own. I hope you have found this to be useful and fun. Please let me know if you have any questions about the game in the comments below, and look out for more episodes as I go further into the game to explore more of the content and talk about more features and functions as we uncover them. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care.